And when you say I do, you got to put yourself on the altar
Right.
and be willing to surrender and give it all. Things in you that you think are right have to
Right.
die.
Right.
And that means that people have to do the work. They have to do the work. It's not an AI relationship.
Right. Welcome to this episode of Bits by Bacon. I am your host, Misty Bacon Renner with Bacon Realty Group. And my guest today is my lovely friend, Annetta Whitney. She is a full time missionary with FamilyLife, dedicated to helping couples build thriving marriages through the hope of the gospel. Operating as Team Whitney alongside her husband Rodney, she facilitates marriage classes and coordinates Weekend to Remember retreats across Texas and Louisiana. Annetta, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you for
And you were
having me.
in the sunny Florida. How is it in sunny Florida today? Oh,
Beautiful.
good. It's nice and humid here, but today is the first day we've had the sun out. So I'm excited to go outside and let the sun hit me in the face.
There's plenty of sun here. It is very sunny. It's beautiful.
Okay, so tell us how you and Rodney got involved with Family Life, because at first you guys, corporate America, amazing jobs, and a beautiful family, children, all the things, living in Texas. And then you guys, were you invited to a retreat? Were you looking for a retreat? Share a little bit of your backstory with us.
Well, the backstory is I worked at the VA as an occupational therapist, and while I was traveling to East Texas to go see a patient, I was listening to Family Life on the radio, Family Life Today, and they were talking about a weekend to remember. And at that particular point in our marriage, I probably could have had a Netflix movie. I was just so broken, so bitter, so disappointed. But divorce really wasn't an
Mm-hmm.
option. So we're a blended family. Rodney has been married before. I'd never been married, never had any children, and just an awful place. And we couldn't even afford to attend. And so I said, okay, I'm going to call and see if they have any scholarships. And so they scholarshiped us to Dallas. And we sat in the ballroom with thousands of people. But it just felt like Rodney, myself, and God. We encountered him so deeply. He met with us. We walked away different.
Wow.
Not because of the weekend, but
Right.
God just met us in such, everything was wiped away.
Mm.
Meaning the walls of Jericho. There was a shout, there was a war cry. We're going to fight for our marriage. And the walls came tumbling down.
Wow.
And we started just inviting other people to the weekend informally, not really knowing that there's a formal way to do it.
Right.
And then we started serving on the local team. We actually invited ourselves to the local team, nevertheless. And year after year, we gathered friends from Family Life. And one weekend to remember, they brought us into the side room and they said, is this what God is calling you to? What?
Mhm.
To leave my land of milk and honey to go to what? I don't even know a missionary. What are you talking about?
Wow.
And so God would call us to Family Life, literally call us to Family Life. I really do feel like it's the Abraham story, to leave everything,
Hmm.
to go to a land where your nation, your name would
Right.
be great. So that's how we got to Family Life. And we're here. We've been here for 6 years now.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool because I've served three in the Houston location. So I've known you half of the time that you've
Yes.
been a missionary full time. I love
Yes.
it. That's amazing. And you also, y'all implement like marriage, Wendy calls ours marriage fuel, but you implement classes like from the weekend to remember, there's resources, there's marriage on mission, there's the art of marriage, and then y'all help facilitate and lead like Zoom classes, in-person classes. What is y'all do?
Really, my son says I don't use my degree, but I say I do use it. And in the sense that we would have clients and patients, and before they would get discharged home, we needed to have an aftercare plan.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to attend the weekend to remember and just be so excited, so on fire.
Hmm.
But I always ask myself, what happens on the 31st day? What are you doing?
Right.
And God has really called us to activate and to do
Right.
something. And so, what Family Life calls it is small groups. And when you think about Jesus, when he was on the shores in the middle of the streets, there was always a crowd. There was
Yeah.
always a group of people. And the impact is with small groups. And so we've hosted several small groups. Most of them have been virtual
Hmm.
because we're in Florida now, no longer in Texas. But God willing, maybe this year or next year, we'll be able to host some in person small groups. But that's what makes the difference. Last year, I started a small group just for women and wives to be, and it really made an impact because I walked away saying, this is where you make the difference. This is where one of the guests in my class said, this has changed my life.
Wow. Yeah.
Another guest said, I've grown inches in this class. I'm not the same.
Hmm.
Women from all walks of life, married, newlywed, not married, widowed, and we're just all on the call just to be better. And
Right.
I think that's what happens with small groups because iron really does sharpen iron. We have to be in close proximity. We have to be willing to go again and again together.
Sure.
So that's the small groups. That's what really makes a difference.
That's awesome. And I will say, let's go back to Weekend to Remember. My husband and I, James, had been married 2 years, 2 years at this point. Let's just say we've been married 5 now, and we attended. And what I loved was there's different sections or sessions, and after each session, there is a call to action. There is your anything from writing things that you need to forgive or you need to things that hinder your personality, like a lot of internal deep dive digging into. And so we found, and then you have to rate your marriage. And my husband is not generous at all when it comes to, because he's very picky. I never give a salesperson a 5. I never give anybody the top score because no one's perfect. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So in after our first weekend to remember, he gave our marriage a 7. And I was freaking out. We're still newlyweds. This is our
Seven
second
out of five?
marriage. We go above and beyond already. So backtrack, saw vertical marriage with a community group first before we came to a weekend to remember. And in vertical marriage, they talked about out serving each other. And so we made it a game. Like if I hear him turning the shower off in the morning, I'll run over and grab his towel and be like, you've been outserved. So it was this joke for us. It became a game
I
for us
love
to
it.
just love on each other and try to outserve each other. And we do it to this day, like 3 years later. But at that weekend to remember, we were already doing that. And he still gave us a 7. And it crushed me. One, I'm a salesperson. I'm a type A. I want perfection. I strive for perfection, even though I know there's not perfection until we get to heaven. But it hit me hard in a bad way, actually. And I was just like, well, what can I do? And he's, what are you talking about? And I was like, I need at least a 9. You don't have to give me a 10, but I need a 9. 7 is bad. What is wrong? What are we doing wrong?
That's a
So
passing grade, Missy.
to me, it wasn't 7. A 7 in school, a 70 is a C. I'm not a C person. I'm not a C person.
I love it.
And again, we hadn't been married very long. So it stressed me out a little bit. But back to the weekend to remember, I love after each section, they're giving you good nuggets and sharing stories. And then you get a workbook. And then again, there's always an exercise after each section. And that spoke to me because then it helps me remember those key points and key nuggets that they wanted us to have to be able to carry out after the weekend. So I really appreciated that. They've done a lot of due diligence and work and care goes into these workbooks and the speakers that they get. And I encourage anyone to go. And especially if you're in marriage, we've seen people that like, they're like, this is the last straw, we're done, come to the event. And it really does change people's lives.
Yes. If you're willing to do the work, I always think about the day that I got married almost 25 years ago, that I stood at an altar and it's really a real altar. And when you think about the New Testament, the altar is symbolic of something dying. And when you say, I do, you got to put yourself on the altar
Right.
and be willing to surrender and give it all. Things in you that you think are right have to
Right.
die.
Right.
And that means that people have to do the work. They have to do the work. It's not an AI relationship.
Right.
You got to
No, it's
do the
definitely
work.
hands on, not all day. Most people work, but you're seeing each other nights and weekends. And I love that your recommendation to plan date night and once a month go out of town, or once a quarter go out of town, and then once a year do a vacation. And that truly is key. Friday nights were our date night, and James started bowling in a bowling league on Friday nights. And so there were months where we didn't have a date night. And it was, I could feel it. I couldn't put words to it until I was like, we haven't been on a date night in I don't even know how long. So we did, and it literally just, there's that reconnection, there's the
Mhm.
intentionality of being there and truly present with each other. Because we're watching TV, I'm playing games on my phone. If he's watching sports, I'm playing games. Or if we're watching a rom com, he's playing games.
We call that coming back to the altar. Let's just come back to the altar
Yeah, that's
and
good.
restart and
That's good.
refresh and surrender.
So, over the last 6 years, what has been your greatest accomplishment, the greatest love story, bounce back from these last 6 years? What has been a moment, a couple, a situation that has just stuck out to you?
There's so many, but I am going to say, I'm going to go back to the small groups.
Yeah, it's true.
Um, where it's not just like you're at an event, people are excited to save my marriage, not belittling that, where people are better, where you're better, where you can say, you know what, in one of the classes, the person says they rule the house. And we challenged her, do you rule the house or does God rule the house?
Mm,
And I think if you can really be one that it can ignite something in someone else, and then they come back and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. That, I think that's the greatest joy, where you can see where you're impacting others and others are impacting others.
absolutely.
Because this is supposed to be a multiplication process. It shouldn't just be for me. It shouldn't
Right.
just be for family life. It
Right.
shouldn't just be for crew. It
Right.
should be that there's multiplication. The word go is in the Bible. It's like over 1,400 times.
Wow.
He's calling us to go. When Moses tells the people, stand still and watch and see the deliverance the Lord is going to give to you, the Lord says, why are you crying out to me? Move forward. How do you
Hmm.
get through the Red Sea? How do you
Right.
get through the Jordan? How do you roll the stone? You got to do something.
God does the work, but we take the step, and in that step or in that action is when he moves.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's always calling us to be a part of the miracle.
Right.
Ask yourself, Misty, you think about any New Testament miracles. Where was Jesus telling people? What was he telling them to do? Roll the stone away, go
Hmm.
see the priest, stretch out your hand, take your mat, do something, bring
Yes.
your faith, do something. And as it relates to marriage, he's calling us to do something.
Yes. Because our neighbors, our family, our children, our grandchildren are watching. People are
Yes.
watching. How
Right.
do you relate to each other? How do you communicate? How do you handle crazy
Mhm.
situations and good situations? And I will say, of all the people that I know, I feel like there are more good marriages than not so good marriages. But then we should be ministering to those that do not have great marriages of, hey, invite you here, or invite you to this, or invite people, bring people along. And I think that's what, so Wendy, I did interview her. I don't think we talked about Weekend to Remember. We talked about her school and our coffee, but that's what she is good at. They lead the marriage ministry at our church, and they are good about inviting people to the Weekend to Remember and then to volunteer. Go to the Weekend to
Mhm.
Remember, And then now it's time for you to participate. It's time for you to do something. And every
Right.
time someone goes to the weekend to remember, they're like, oh my gosh, I know 5 couples that need to come to this and I'm going to invite them next year. And our group is growing, which is cool. So yeah, it's amazing. You just got to get there and get there for one, because there are a lot of obstacles that come. People tires go bad and they can't find babysitters for the
Yes.
kids and crazy
Yes.
things. But we've seen it all for sure. But we are definitely praying them in too, because there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. So weekend to remember, we already had it in the past. So next year, are you already planning for next year? Like you're already in mode?
Yes.
Were you able to take a little bit of a break?
We were in mode. Actually,
Yeah.
I got a list right here. I got 10 people to call today. That's my list, my goal. It's like planning a wedding. You can never do it too early.
Right.
And we really what we really want to see in 2027 is more collaborative efforts and to go after the one. If you can attend a weekend to remember and see that there is someone else that you should invite. And I just want to underscore, it's not the weekend to remember. It's not. You have to have an encounter with God. And so
Yes.
yes, we met with our leaders, our new leader in Houston and our leader in Louisiana. We met with them last week. Hey, so we want a scripture to stand on for the whole year. What churches can we work through collaborating with? We've collaborated with Crew Military for years. What can we do better? And so, yes, we're in process. We don't have a date as of yet. There's rumors of a location, but we don't have a date, but it's usually in the spring.
Okay. And it was interesting. So I've served at Houston for 3 years. I did last year Baton Rouge, not this year. And then this year we went to Branson. So it was cool to see a different perspective, how they do things a little different. For family life, missionaries as yourself, that your focus is the weekend to remember and then the after connecting. How many of you are across the United States?
There are 80 events
Oh, wow.
throughout the year.
Okay.
There's 80 events. And so I think total, there's probably about 30 couples that serve as they changed the name. It's Field Ministry Leader. That's the new
Okay.
name. So Field Ministry Leaders. So it's about 30 couples,
Okay.
about 30 that are doing it. So some people have one city, some have two or more cities.
Right.
So it varies because some cities, like there may be multiple events in a city.
Got it. Got it. And what is your favorite of the small groups? What is your favorite? Do you do vertical marriage, the art of marriage? What is your favorite small group study?
I think I've done all of them with the exception of maybe one that are related to marriages. I think my that's a great question. I think the one that is probably my favorite is the classic art of marriage.
Okay.
So the classic art of marriage pretty much mirrors the weekend to remember. And then I'd say my second one is the love like you mean it.
I don't think we've
And
done that one yet.
so that one's based off of 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind. So it takes each individual aspect of what love is,
Ooh.
and you have a chance as couples to really dive in. I love word stuff. I love the word so much. I love books, but I love the word more because I
Yeah.
think we can learn from it. Yeah, I'd say the Art of Marriage classic and the Love Like You Mean It.
I love
Those are
it.
my favorite.
Is there something for singles? I know that if you're engaged, you can come, but does Family Life Crew have anything for singles? Because I was single for 16 years after a divorce in my 30s and 40s, and I had a home church, but I church hopped when it came to Valentine's Day's events for singles or just retreats for singles or things for singles. So does Family Life have something for singles?
So currently there is not an event for singles. I think that might be one of the reasons why. So when you look at a lot of the language it says marriages and families. And so we intentionally flip it to say families and marriages because everybody has a family.
Sure.
That's the universal language wherever
Right.
you go in the world. Family exists. So that means single people are not excluded. And so I would love to see there are a lot of singles that serve here with Family Life, but there is not an event. They do have some small groups that are here that they're doing with
Hmm.
singles, but nothing formally. So that I think that would be a prayer request
Yeah.
that is not just marriages because statistically there are more people that are single. There's a lot of single people, and so there's ministry there. Of course, they have lots of books related to singlehood, but nothing
Right.
formal like an event.
Yeah. I also had to seek that, but that's my personality. I'm not afraid to, I'm going to go find something. And there was a ministry that met once a week. There was a worship song, a devotion, and then just fellowship afterwards. So I was able to find other people to get around. But I also was around a lot of amazing married couples. So I got to see how godly people should interact with each other and how I wanted to be a godly woman this time around. I was not saved during my first marriage. Ironically, I got saved going through my divorce, though. And it was so eye opening of all the things. And even during the weekend to remember, I had flashbacks of, oh, I could have handled that differently. Not that I wanted that marriage to work or reconcile or whatever. We had both forgiven all the things. But there were just things that I remembered, oh, I did that. That was terrible. How mean of me or how
Mhm.
immature of me and I definitely don't want to do that this time around or I want to be different this time around. So, yeah, that's family is important and being around people that can hold you accountable and help you heal and all the things so that you can be ready for marriage and to pray in. I will say it took a lot of prayer praying in James. I had lists. I literally had a list of 100 things and several people were like, "You're just doing that cuz you don't want to get you like you don't want to find somebody. You it's easier for you to be alone." I'm like, "But that's not true. I want to meet someone." So I went back and I wrote the fruit of the spirit by my list. I scratched out everything else because one of the things was I wanted them to be able to be mechanically inclined, fix things and do things, and then I changed it to just make enough money to have someone pay someone to fix those things so that it's done right. But then I had the fruit of the spirit, and then I finally prayed and I just said, "Lord, you know best what I need. I surrender that to you." I put my list away, and then when I met James, like he's pretty awesome. And I did every once in a while, even to this day, he'll do something and I'll tell God, I was like, "You're just showing off now because I didn't even pray for that."
You get more than what you expect.
He did. He did.
Yes, he gave you more than what you ever could imagine.
Yes. And I will say thank you and Rodney for stretching him. He, for the weekend to remember volunteer weekends, does still kind of doesn't feel like he knows where he fits in. But in Branson, he had gone to the restroom and there was a gentleman sitting at a bar and James he just felt compelled to go talk to him, so he started talking to him. The wife came over. They were supposed to be in a session but they were mad and whatever, and so James shared his testimony and then he prayed with him. He's like, "Can I pray with you?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, my baby." 'Cause
That
he'll pray and he is an amazing prayer. He's authentic and a beautiful, genuine heart, but he doesn't like praying in front of people. So that was a huge step for him. So you would have been
I
proud.
loved hearing that. I
I know it made
loved
me so
hearing that.
happy. It was almost worth because I was like, man, Lord, I wish I would have seen that. But honestly, the joy that I felt inside was like I was there. So I was so proud of him. And he was like
That
proud of himself too, like
he
shocked even.
probably
He was like,
couldn't
I don't know what
believe it,
happened. Like
right?
words just started coming out of me. I didn't even know what I was saying. I'm like, because that's the
Oh,
Lord being
that is the
vulnerable.
Lord.
So
Yes,
great
and he
things happen when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and exposed and allow Holy Spirit to move.
and there's a story of the Good Samaritan. And so the priest walked by, the Levite, they just kept walking. But the Good Samaritan did exactly what James did. He
Hmm.
stopped and he provided care. Like the Spirit will tell you. And it will feel like, oh, that's crazy. Why would I do that?
Right.
And you know what? You're never disappointed in the obedience. If he sends you to a person, like he was sent to this person, he got more out of it.
Yes, yes. It was just cool because two times before, he had our shirts say the power of prayer. The
Mm-hmm.
Houston shirts, the
Mm-hmm.
Branson shirts say something different. Anyway, he was wearing that shirt. So someone came up and was like, I really need prayer right now. And he literally shoved me into them. And he's, my wife will pray with you. And he did it again. This other couple came and he was just visiting with them. And then before we were done, he's like, can y'all pray for us? And my husband looks at me and he's, my wife will pray. I'm like, I will pray. So we
Um,
prayed and then they prayed over us. And so it was beautiful to see. I felt like those were both nudges. God was giving him little nudges and he wasn't
mhm.
comfortable yet. But then when he went to the bathroom by himself and then boom, I don't know, I was so proud and so happy. It was pretty awesome.
So this was the third time.
This was the third time. Yeah. In
I
the
love
same
it.
weekend. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love to hear that he activated.
Yes,
That's like a call to action.
it
And
is.
now his confidence is going to be up and
Yes.
he's going
And
to
that's what
hear.
the more you're obedient to it, the more it comes natural and it's just, yeah. So it's
I
pretty
love that.
awesome. When will you all be back in Houston for a visit? Will you get to come and scout out the new location or whatever?
I know for sure we're coming in September, but we
Okay.
want to come sometime during the summer. We can get the flights to go down. So hopefully this summer, but we know for sure we're coming in September.
Okay.
And we need to get a date. We need to have a
Yes.
date. So we don't have a date. Tomorrow we meet with our leadership tomorrow. And so hopefully we could get word on the date.
Awesome. I have two final questions that I ask every guest. The first one is, what advice or words of wisdom would you give your 22-year-old self?
My 22-year-old self, I would say, don't give up. Don't give up. Whatever you got to do, if you got to crawl, if you're running, walking, just keep moving.
Yes. I love it.
Keep moving. Don't quit. Don't quit. When they had to walk around Jericho, I probably would have said, okay, this is enough of this, day 5, but keep going. It's
Yeah.
right there before you. Just keep going. Don't stop moving.
That's awesome. That's great advice. That's great advice now, not just a 22-year-old self. It's a great advice. And lastly, what do you want to be remembered for?
Maybe that same sentiment of perseverance,
I love
of
it.
not quitting and not being afraid to keep moving. When everything else says to stop, it's easy to stop. But I think I want to be remembered for the tenacity, the perseverance. When my grandfather died, I remember the pastor said that my grandfather left everything. And that's what I want to be remembered for.
Oh, I love
When you
that.
see me in the casket, there's nothing else left because I've left it all here.
Yes. Oh, I love
Empty.
that. I
Just,
think
just
Miles Monroe said the richest place in the world is a cemetery because that's
what,
where all
say it
the
again?
Miles Monroe said the richest place in the world is a cemetery where hopes and dreams were not fulfilled. It's where all the places go, all the hopes, the dreams, they all died right there. All the treasure is just right there. That stings a little because I'm the same. I want to live life to the fullest, and I want people same when I'm in the casket. They say she left it. She did it all. She left nothing on the table. I just
Yes.
want to be faithful, and I say that to the Lord all the time. I don't want to miss anything you have for me to experience, to do. I want to
Hmm.
experience it all.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good.
Well,
So we
I
got the
love you and I
same
appreciate
sentiment.
you, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in September.
Yes. We
Well,
could definitely
thank
see each
you
other in
for joining me
September.
today. Then remember, everybody loves bacon. Thanks for hanging out with me on Bits by Bacon. Be sure to follow, leave a review, and send this to that friend who always wants the inside scoop in and around the Houston area. I'll see you next time with more stories, real estate talk, and a little bit of everything in between. And remember, everybody loves bacon.